Gather around the table once again for another session of Dungeons and Dragons. Happy Monday afternoon, everybody, and we're back in Auchindoun. So we're in the third instance of 4 for the former Draenei Holy City, the Holy Mausoleum, you might call it as well. And we're going to be going into the Sethekk Hall. So the first wing we dealt with the Ethereals and their internal conflicts. The second one we dealt with the Burning Legion and also what they were trying to do with the fallen souls of the Draenei. Today we're going to be dealing with the Arakoa. They have actually taken control of the Sethekk Halls, or of this portion of Auchindoun, and named it the Sethekk Halls. And people might notice that we have a little bit of a skull there. So we're going to be running this heroic today, and it's mainly because this is one of those instances where a hidden boss is actually put into the harder mode. So let's go ahead and get things started, and then we will start up heroic Sethekk Halls. Now, yes, I have not been running things heroic before. I really don't see a point to it unless they've added content. So like an additional boss, something like that. So that's why I've been doing it that way. And that rule will probably still remain here. If there is actually some additional content that we can get from heroic mode or mythic mode or anything like that, we're going to do it that way. So let's go ahead and grab the quest from Isfar. And for all the people who screamed at me for the squawking, I'm not going to do that now. Brother, again, so
lower your voice, Blood Elf. I am no longer welcome in Sethekk.
Brother against brother.
The Sethekk departed Skettis when Auchindoun exploded. My brother Sith was one of their leaders and told us we had to go into the ruins and face our god. In time, Sith had cast me out of the halls for doubting them, but he refused to let me take our sister Laka. Will you help me rescue her?
Okay. And then Terok's legacy.
Terok, hero of the Arakoa, mysteriously vanished one day, leaving only his mask and spear behind. Darkweaver Sith still holds his mask, and Talon King Ikis guards his spear. It would mean a great deal to my people if these items were returned to us.
Alright, so let's go ahead and get things started. Obviously, we're going to be fighting a lot of Arakoa, specifically the Sethekk. And yeah, we're going to take care of that right now, because I don't want to have to deal with loot. At least for the dungeon. So this is like a last hold for the Talon King Ikis, and I believe I'm saying that right, because that's what Warlords of Draenor says. So if I'm not saying it right, I'm sorry. Warlords of Draenor says it that way. So let's go ahead and get things started in Vale Sethekk for the Sethekk Halls. And like I said, we are doing this heroic. We won't be doing that as a regular thing, but if there's added material, like say a mount or something like that, maybe we'll take them on a little bit more. I mean, obviously we're going to be doing raid difficulty in normal, but we might actually, like, if we can make it work, I might try and run heroic, because there are some hidden bosses as well in heroic mode for a couple of raids. But right now, we're just going to make sure that this is going to work. I'm not too worried about this one. It's the raids I have concern about. Here we go. As we continue to make our way. Oh, and here's the Sethekk Guard. And we are actually right now at the first boss, which is Darkweaver Sith. If people remember, Isfar said his brother was named Sith. This is him. Let's go ahead and read his lore and see what's going on with Darkweaver Sith. Darkweaver Sith is charged by the Talon King Ikis to defend the Sethekk Halls while the renegade Arakoa search for their enigmatic god. A master of shadowy magic, this wizened trickster has learned how to bend the very elements to his sway. And back in that cage is Laka, so let's go ahead and take care of him. And we actually get an additional quest with this, which is Dealer Vijad. So I thought we were done with the Ethereals, but apparently not.
Oh, not to worry, monk. With this barrier in place, the Arakoa cannot see me. I'm here on business.
Eyes of Desire.
I have a buyer who is interested in the eyes of the cobalt serpents that have taken up residence here. If you were to bring me some of these rare gems, I would cut you a portion of the profits. Do we have a deal?
Okay, so let's go ahead and take care of that. And we will free Laka.
Now's our chance. Let me out of this cage.
I'll have you out of here in just a moment. There you go.
Thank you for freeing me, Drakfu. I'm going to make my way to Shattrath.
Good idea. That's a great idea, actually. Okay, so let's continue on deeper into the Sethekk Halls. And things just get harder and harder. And oh, by the way, these are the Cobalt Serpents that they were talking about. That would give us the Cobalt Eyes. And thankfully, it's not too hard to get this quest done. But you do have a limited number. I remember back in Burning Crusade, you weren't necessarily guaranteed the number of Cobalt Eyes, but I don't remember. Yeah, I think this was available in the early portion. Or there was a quest similar to it. That's one of the weird things about dungeons now, is like they will have similar quests, but sometimes they'll change them a little bit to reflect changes in the game. So here we go. Take care of all the birdies. Apparently not all the birdies. Not too worried about the birdies. Or the bird people. Oh, and actually, if so here's a returning mechanic. If you've dealt with the Sunken Temple back in the day and didn't know how to deal with this mechanic, this would teach you. This ghost will not fade away until you're a good distance, but if it hits you, it kind of resets the timer for it. So here we go. See, I got two ghosts right here. And actually, here is the hidden boss of the heroic mode of Sethekk Halls, the Raven God Anzu. Now, Anzu actually has a little bit more lore, in my opinion, in Warlords of Draenor, but we'll go ahead and go with the Dungeon Finder. We'll worry about Anzu when we get to Warlords of Draenor content, but here is what the Dungeon Journal has for him. A mysterious avian deity worshipped by some of the more savage Arakoa, Anzu is a being whose origins and powers are unlike any other member of the Outland's fallen pantheon. The Naaru are silent regarding this malevolent creature, for Anzu's ways are hidden from even them. So he's basically a dark god of the Arakoa, but here's the thing. The Arakoa, all their gods are pretty dark. So let's go ahead and take care of him. And bonus for this is if you actually take him out, he does drop a mount, which is fairly easy to get. Reigns of the Raven Lord. In fact, let me see if I can actually show it to you really quick, just in case people have never seen it. I'm sure you have, but... Oh, that's right. It would come off as Raven Lord. So here we go. So this is the Reigns of the Raven Lord. It's basically just a version of Anzu that you can ride. And I actually remember, fun little fact, in the early days of Burning Crusade, this is actually how you got the epic flight form. The Druids had to come in here to do this fight in a particular way, and then they could unlock the epic flight form ability. So you could get epic flying with a flight form as a Druid. And here actually is the final boss of the Sethekk Halls. So if you came in here not heroic, Anzu wouldn't be here.
Trinkets, yes. Pretty trinkets. Power. Great power.
Exactly.
Power in trinkets.
Hey, he squawked. But yeah, so if you came in here on normal, Anzu wouldn't be here. But if you come in here on heroic, you do get a chance for the mount. So let's go ahead and go into the lore of Talon King Ikis, the final boss. Talon King Ikis was the charismatic spiritual leader of the daring group of Arakoa, which left their home in the Terakar forest in search of a promised god. He had received dreams of this god as he slept, and knew that revelation lay within the crumbling halls of Auchindoun. Ikis was driven insane by the visions, and now declares himself to be Terok Reborn, a divine hero from Arakoa myth. Which, again, we'll go into that when we go into Draenor, because they actually do explain who Terok is. So let's go ahead and kill off Talon King Ikis. There you go. And we get the Ravenclaw Band, a cloak, and bracers. And I don't care about the Primal Nether, because you can't really do anything with those aside from crafting. Thankfully, too, this is one of those dungeons that does give you a shortcut. So this puts us right back in Vale Sethekk. So let's go ahead and take this back to the quest giver and let him know his sister as well as Ikis has been taken care of. So just bounce into this door right here. And here is Isfar. Isfar, we're back. We got your stuff done. Brother against brother.
Knowing that Laka is free, I can cut the rest of my ties to the Sithik. Part of me will never forgive myself for Sith's death, but it had to be done. When I reach Sketis, I will perform the death rites for him.
Alright, so... which one's going to sell better? It doesn't matter. There we go, and then Tarok's Legacy.
The relics of Tarok have been absent from Sketis for too long. Were you able to recover them from the Sithik?
Yes, I got the mask and the quill.
I may never truly be forgiven for my role in the chimes of the Sithik, in the crimes of the Sithik, but perhaps by restoring the relics of Tarok to my people, I can begin to redeem myself.
And you get Tarok's mask as well. And yeah, we do have a quest with the Ethereal, but it's not necessarily relevant to what you're doing in here. But that's going to go ahead and wrap things up for the Sethekk Halls. When we get back next week, we're going to be dealing with the final instance of the Coilfang Reservoir as we delve into the Steam Vaults. We'll see you guys then.